Hey guys, and welcome back to FTB Interactions, where we are rich. So I've let this ore processing system that we set up at the end of last episode run a little bit, and we have gained quite a few resources. We still have a huge backlog of ores to process, so this is still nowhere near fast enough. It doesn't seem to have any issues with the way we have it configured. Some of the conduits I had to add some extract speed upgrades to, this one and the one for the tiny dusts. But overall it seems to be working quite well. And the way I've decided to store the output is in a ME subnet. So all the blue cable here is on the subnet. I crafted up this dense energy cell just to make sure there wasn't any power outages when we were inserting huge amount of items at once, as is sometimes the case. And then this is connected to our mainnet via a storage bus with extract only, and it's also getting power from this quartz fiber. So these two conduits here are from the chests up there, which are important into this subnet, and that's how all the items go from the output chests of all the machines into here. Currently our bottleneck, as I suspected, is actually these ore washing plants. This is by far the slowest step. Yeah, you can see the amount of crushed ore that we have that still has to be washed. However, we do have a bit of a problem, and that is that we are losing nitro diesel at a pretty fast rate here. So we have 8,000 buckets in our ME system, and then another 922, I don't know if this is millibucket, yeah, it must be millibuckets. 922,000 millibuckets in this quantum tank. But yeah, about 40 minutes ago I was up to 1.5 million, so this thing is eating nitro diesel. And from what I can see, our bottleneck is cetane boosted, which we're making from tetranitromethane and diesel, and in this one it mixes the methane with biodiesel. Which means our bottleneck is actually the tetranitromethane, and that's because our ethanone is slow. And currently, the way we're getting ethanone is from this farm. So we are harvesting sludge from these plant interactors. The sludge is then getting distilled in this MV distillery into charcoal byproducts, where it gets run through the distillation tower. And then the outputs gets distilled again into ethanone, and that gets sent over to that chemical reactor over there. So as you can see, this thing is not getting very much sludge. It's very, very slow. So we have a couple of different options to fix this. We could either speed up this farm, or like all problems in this pack, we can solve it with a chicken. So the smog chicken here, apparently that was a quest. The smog chicken provides smog enriched eggs, which we can turn into sludge in the fluid extractor. And then again, we're just going to distill this and then send that through our distillation tower up there. So I suspect this will actually move our bottleneck over to liquid starlight. So I'm expecting to have to upgrade that today, but that's not too difficult to do, I don't think. Alright, so the chicken is at 10-10-10. I've crafted this HV fluid extractor. Just have to give this some power. So this is going to give us much faster sludge. And now we just have to get it over to our farm over there next to the distillery. So I think we'll just auto output into our ME system. I have already made a fluid drive for this. Alright, so to hook this up, I think we can actually just hook this up to this portable tank here. So when we do this, we have to double check that our distillery is actually fast enough. But once this gets some sludge, it's going to buffer in here where it gets extracted upstairs. And, oh yeah, at least this is actually running at 100% uptime. Question is, does it need upgraded? Because this is only MV tier, and I think, oh no, this is HV. But we may have to upgrade this distillery. So that seems to have sped things up a little bit. As you can see, we're now down to 770. But I also just realized that we're making ethanone, or we're making acetic acid up there in the distillery, and then we're turning that into ethanone. However, we're also making acetic acid over here in this chemical reactor. And in our system, we have 1,300 buckets of acetone, which we are not using. So I have fixed that by adding this distillery, which imports from a new fluid interface I've put back here for acetone from our system. And this will make us more ethanone. Auto output to the top side of this chemical reactor where it mixes with our nitric acid. And this is where we get our tetranitromethane. So now our cetane is going way up. And I suspect this will turn our bottleneck to liquid starlight, but we'll have to see about that. Yeah, we're already way up on infused nitro diesel. So we'll keep an eye on this and check back on it later on. I just wanted to start with this and not end up in a situation where we're out of infused nitro diesel. But as you may have noticed, I've done also a little bit of building, tried to clean up some of these areas. And I've just been trying to neaten things up as we go. But anyways, I think the first project for today is going to be Thaumcraft. We've been doing a lot of Greg Tech recently, and I think it's time to take a little bit of a step back from that. And as I mentioned, I would like to get our Astral Sorcery area moved from here and fully incorporate it into this mountainside. And I would also like to move our Thaumcraft area from the void over to our main base. But before we start building anything, I would like to move this starlight. We may as well upgrade it while we move it. So the plan is actually to move this to our space station. And there's a trick we can do in advanced rocketry to make it always nighttime. And at night, these light wells get a boost to their starlight production. So let's first start by moving this out of the way, and then we can figure out what we want to do with the Thaumcraft and Astral Sorcery areas. Alright, so we no longer have the Astral Sorcery area up there. I moved everything down on top of this mountain, and we're going to connect it through this stairwell here. I don't know exactly how it's going to connect up yet, I'll have to figure that out. I'll probably do that in between the episodes though. But yeah, we got our attunement altar, the Celestial Gateway, I just took that from up there. And then our iridescent altar with a collector crystal on here. This collector crystal is the perfect statted one that we made for Lucerna, that I thought I was going to put in the ritual, but I made the wrong version of the crystal. But as far as I know, it doesn't actually matter which constellation you attune your crystal to for this purpose. So this way, by shining the light on it with the collector crystal, it gives us enough starlight to craft, I believe, during any time of day. Also, we got this troll guy here who is apparently stuck. Maybe a mob imprisonment tool would move him. Oh, he dropped a statue. Well, I guess he's out of the way then. Anyways, I think the next thing I'd like to do is move our Thaumcraft area over. And the plan is just to stick it in this area here. We'll have to find somewhere else for the main Celestial Gateway. But all of our Thaumcraft area is going to be set up and rebuilt with a proper theme. And as for our light wells, I have moved them over to our space station here. And the reason it's so dark, by the way, is because I have this orientation controller, which basically just flips the skybox to make it always dark. So I think that'll give a speed boost to our light wells, and this also definitely decreases the lag back in the overworld. So it's more or less just the same setup with the 5 chickens here, and they all go into this ender tank, which is connected to our ME system on the other side. Before we start moving our Thaumcraft area, I would like to craft the flux sponge. This is a creative item. I think it's going to be our second creative item. And this actually doesn't look too bad now that we have the resonating gems. We got one of these void reagents for the end portal quest. So that just leaves the void seeds, which we haven't quite made yet. But at this point it shouldn't be too difficult in the Hellfire Forge. So I've got enough materials for 8 crafts here. Just have to get my Tartaric gem. And there's our void seeds. And our resonating gems. And then we also need a spare pair of mitts. And lastly, we need a morphic resonator. So now that we have all the materials, we have to also collect all of these aspects. So let me make sure we have enough in our jars there. So I went through the whole list, and we're just missing some tenebrae, which we can get from endstone. I was looking for the source of this earlier on, before we had access to the end, and it's not very easy to come by, to be honest. But luckily we have access to endstone now. And 48 tenebrae. Nice. So let's place all the pedestal items, and let's hope this thing doesn't cause any issues while we're doing this last craft. Oh, wait, hold on. Apparently we're missing something. Oh, the void reagent. That's right. Okay, we got the void reagent. Let's try this again. It looks like we're just barely on net gain on stability, but no issues yet. As long as we have all the aspects. Let's use our time in a bottle just a bit. Awesome, nice. We got our flux sponge, and I think if we just right click, this thing's gonna instantly disappear. Oh, maybe not. Wait, why is it still here? Oh, you have to shift right click, okay. Well, if we check our thermometer, we can see there's absolutely 0 flux left in the chunks. And there was also a quest apparently in our creative tab. Gives us a flux condenser. Doesn't the condenser clean the flux from the chunks though? That seems a bit pointless now that we have the sponge. Alright, anyways, now with that I feel a bit more confident moving this to next to our base that we can clean up flux with one click. So let's start moving all this stuff over now. Okay, we got a new runic altar area here. So let's see if I remember how to build this. Okay, so the new altar is built, and as for the Essentia smeltery, I would quite like to upgrade it to the void metal one if we can. This is going to require a bit more crafting, but before we look into that, I would like to look into Thaumic energistics. I've never ever played with this mod before, but it allows us to incorporate our applied energistics system. So if I was to guess, we need this Essentia infusion provider, and I think this is what provides the Essentia to the altar from our system, which is another infusion craft, but we need these coalescence cores. Luckily we do have 2 from quest rewards, which just leaves the ME interface, some Salus Mundus, and these aspects. Unfortunately this does mean that we'll have to set up these jars just one more time to create this craft first. But long term we won't be storing our Essentia in jars like this. So now that we have some way to provide Essentia, we need some way of storing it. So for that we're going to use Essentia storage components, which we got from a quest reward I think. But these aren't too difficult to make. For now we're just going to use the 164k storage cell. And I've made a fresh drive. I think we'll stick it next to our item storage here. Or maybe it makes more sense to be on fluids. Yeah, we'll put it over this side next to our fluids. And then I've also hooked up the P2P connection from this side of the controller over to our Thaumcraft area. And then to import our Essentia from the smeltery into our ME system, we need, I think it's the import bus, this one here, which takes a diffusion core. We have to craft one of these things. So there's our 2 diffusion cores and 4 more coalescence cores. And with those we can make the import bus. And I would also like to get us an Essentia terminal. I think this will let us digitally see what we have in our system. And I'm also going to make a digital version of this arcane workbench, which I never actually knew existed, but that sounds really cool. So that is just made with a calculation processor and an ME terminal. So let's try and see if we can put all this together. Before we do that though, our ME system has just went out. I think after diagnosing the problem, the issue is that this tank, or this drum, had filled up with lubricant, as I must have forgot to filter this. So we're going to kickstart our system with a little bit of infused nitro diesel here that I have in this cell. Hopefully that means we can get access to this for a filter out of our ME terminal. But this thing still isn't turning on. Maybe we take some of these out. Okay, it turns on for a second. How do we fix this? So I've been at this for like a good 5 minutes or so, and I can't get this controller back on. I don't know if it's just filling buffers or what, but we got our subnet on, and these controllers say they have channels through them, but the network isn't switching itself on again, and I can't access this terminal. I've also disconnected all of our main lines, apart from the ones that go to storage, and tried moving our flux point over to where the dense energy cell is, but none of these energy cells seem to be filling up. This is very strange. I don't know what's going on here. So relogging seems to have fixed it, but I can't get these dense energy cells to accept any energy. I'm not sure if this is just filling buffers right now. It looks like maybe that is the case. If you look on the tooltip of this controller, actually not even gaining on energy. So I think we are just barely making enough energy to keep our ME system running. So it's probably that extra Essentia drive that caused the extra power draw on our system. Aha! I found our solution here. This little drive here is off, and this is the one that stores our infused nitro diesel. So I was wondering, like, why do we have no diesel in this anymore, and we have like a full quantum tank here with almost 6 million diesel in it? And then I looked around here and this interface was full, so I checked the channels, and yeah, we're only on 4 channels here, so we're good for that. But it's not emptying because this thing doesn't have channels, which means there's nowhere to store the fluid. So how are we going to fix this? It means we need more channels here. And I think we can fix that just by replacing this cable after the P2P with some dense cable. Okay, we got our drive back on. That means that we should be getting fuel back to our diesel engine through this interface. Yes, there we go. And I have also put the filter on the steel drum. But anyways, before that little interruption, I have set up our terminals here. So we have our crafting terminal. This lets us craft as if it was the arcane workbench. And there is this slot here. I think this is for the V battery. Or not the battery, I mean the charger. I think if we combine this with an advanced card, we get the arcane charging upgrade, which we can put in here, and this gives us a lot more V to work with. And then our Essentia terminal here lets us see all of the stored Essentia we have in our system, which is coming from over here with our Thaumic Essentia smeltery. This still melts it down like usual. I'm still to upgrade this, but we have our Arcane Alembic attached to a Essentia import bus. And this will take all the aspects that are melted from here and put it into our ME drive over there. And then the infusion provider provides infusion to the runic matrix for our crafts. So yeah, this still needs a bit of aesthetic cleanup, but I think I'm going to save that for another day. Maybe I'll do it tonight actually. Same with the Astral Sorcery area up there, that all needs cleaned up. But at least now we got these in permanent locations. So next up, I'd like to address our platinum issue. As you can see, we have basically 0. The way we're currently getting platinum is from this infernal deconglomerator, but it's way too slow. So to fix that, we're going to go to the end and kill the Chaos Dragon. This is going to give us access to iridium as well as platinum and palladium. And palladium is actually something else we need for carbon fibers that we set up last time. This is the step that I kind of overlooked as we didn't have this reliable source of platinum or palladium. So this is going to kill 2 birds with the 1 stone. And I believe it also gives us osmium as well. But for that, obviously we have to kill the Chaos Dragon. And that is not easy. But we do have our Mantle of the Stars, which grants Chaos immunity. However, it does deal a significant amount of damage, even though we are resistant to Chaos damage. Which means we do have to upgrade our gear. We are also going to need some way to regen our health reliably, without relying on health potions, as obviously we don't regen in this pack. So to do that, I'm going to make a beacon. I probably should have made this ages ago. And I believe if you put the Spectre lens on top of the beacon, it actually gives you the beacon effect anywhere in the world, including cross-dimensionally. So obviously we need a bunch of blocks for this, and luckily we got our ore processing system set up, and we're now up to over 3,000 iron, which still has to be smelted, but we still have this multi-smelter here. And we will be moving this. I haven't quite decided where I'm going to put this yet though. And as for the beacon, I think we'll actually just put it in this little spot here. Alright, so our beacon is built. I'm going to go for resistance and regen on this. Or, wait a sec. Did I miss some blocks? I missed 1 block right in the middle here. So yeah, we'll go for resistance and regen. Alright, so that should keep us topped off, but I would also like to get some extra hearts. So we do have these 2 heart canisters, but I would like to make a few more to take us up to the full 10 hearts. However, to craft these things, it is done in a crucible, and we have to get human hearts, which is obtained from slain villagers. Goodbye, villager. Cartographer. I need your hearts. I'm sorry, villagers. Has to be done. It's for the greater good. Hey. Oh man, look at all the spiders here. Wow, this is crazy. Alright, so I got the remaining 7 hearts. I'm just over here at our crucible, and I think this might have been a mistake doing it here, as we don't have any way to get more Essentia here. So maybe let's move this crucible back to our new Thaumcraft area. There's 1 heart at least. Alright, so now we just need to gather up these aspects, and I'm hoping that this thing will provide the Essentia we need for here. So I moved our crucible back here, and we just have the emptying Essentia transfuser, which takes the aspects from our system here, as well as these jars. I just have these just to use them up. But I did also find some more red hearts in my ME system, so I only crafted a few. But anyways, with these we need to mix them with canisters to make them the red heart ones. Or actually, we could go straight to the orange. I don't know if you have to have 10 red before you can go to orange. I'm not sure, but anyway, for the canisters we need these relic apples, which is golden apples and mana pearls, or the apple of restoration. And for these apples we need to make a bunch of instant health potions. We can do that just by mixing some beef and chamomile. There we go. And then we can make our apples of restoration, which we combine in the alloy smelter with our mana pearls. I don't think I showed this alloy smelter, but this is just an extra machine next to all of the other ones that we have for on-demand crafts, and this is set to blocking mode. But apart from that, it's just more or less the same setup as all the other machines. Anyways, then we take some zinc foil, combine that with the relic apple. This will give us our canisters. And then we can craft those with the hearts to give us our red heart canisters. Cool, so this should regen us an extra 10 hearts at least. I know there is this heart amulet we can make, so we may as well make one of these things. So yeah, I think this heart amulet just lets you put multiple different canisters inside. So right now we only have the red ones. So yeah, that takes us up to a total of, what, 21.5? We have 2 from Astral Sorcery. But next up, we have to see about repairing this Mantle of the Stars, because it's actually almost broken. And I think I will actually just put Life Mending on this, since we have regen now. So what Life Mending will do is actually take your hearts to repair the durability. Yeah, I hope I don't regret that. We may have to juggle this item before it gets fully repaired. Our regen just barely keeps up. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, I'm going to have to drop it a bit. So the next upgrade I'd like to get is upgrading the rest of our gear. And to do that, I want to raise our max enchants to 150. And for that, we need to craft these Hellshelfs. So that's going to require a bunch of resonating gems. We can do this. Lightwood. I think the lightwood is what we found on Euclides Prime. So I'll go and harvest one of those trees. And then we also need the Tome of Perisha, which requires a bunch of imbued slates. So I've started those up in our blood altar. That shouldn't take too long. We already have 23. I'm not entirely sure exactly how many of these Hellshelfs we need. I'll have to double check. But apart from the slates, I think we should be alright. And the mantle is almost repaired here. I found that if you are not holding it, it doesn't actually take hearts off you. There, it's fully repaired. So yeah, we're here on Euclides Prime. This is the light wood I was thinking about. I think this is the right wood we need. And apparently this is just called wood. I'm hoping this is the right one. Yeah, it looks like it. We just cut and saw this into lightwood planks. So I double checked and it's 22 Hellshelfs that we need. Which means we need 44 imbued slates. But now that we have access to these flux points, we can time in a bottle this mob agonizer. And this will produce so much more blood for us. We can also time in a bottle this altar. And these are going to craft in no time. Looks like it was even too fast and it turned it into a demonic there. I have also run out of mana pearls for these resonating gems, which means I have to make some more unstable mana. And I really should get around to automating this thing, because it is really a pain to craft this manually. But then we have to mix that with Eyes of Ender, and that gets us our mana pearls. I should probably also look at automating this thing as well, because we need to craft 44 of these things. As long as we have enough mana. I mean, we do have quite a bit buffered. We'll see if it lasts though. As part of this upgraded enchanting setup, we also need some mana pylons to boost our max level. And I think we need 4 of these things. These also do take these Orium gems, which I only have 3 of at the moment. I'm trying to grow another one. So there's those. I'm just waiting on the rest of the gems and the slates. With all of our slates, we can now craft all of the Tomes of Perisha. For this we do need enchanted books, unfortunately, which don't stack. And I have a feeling these won't stack either. But I have a bunch of junk enchanted books in here that I'm just going to use for the crafts. And yeah, unfortunately these don't stack. Oh well. And last one. And with the rest of our resonating gems, we can come over to our fusion crafters. And now all we need is our Tomes of Perisha. And this should be quite quick. This is a 120k RF. Alright, there's our Hellshelfs. So with all our Hellshelfs, let's see if we have enough to reach level 150 with this. Okay, we are only at 88 right now, which means I do think that we need these mana pylons. Let's see, 3 takes us up to 136. I wonder if we can put some magical wood in here, just to try and boost it a bit more. 146, okay. 148, I think we need the other mana pylon. Okay, managed to get one more Orium gem. Let's make our last mana pylon. So now can we get level 150? No, we're still 148, okay. Let's try one more Hellshelf just to see if that works. Hey, there we go. So obviously to be able to do this enchantment, we have to actually be level 150. So we should have some DML matter that we can use. That hasn't been running in a little while, so hopefully we have enough for it actually. Luckily I did also set up this fluid extractor with the learning chicken in it. We have 228,000 experience in here. And combined with the matter, that should let us enchant at least a couple of pieces of gear. Alright, so I managed to scrounge up enough to get level 150 with a little bit extra to spare. And as for the armor we're going to use, I found this Elementium stuff in dungeons, as well as these dragon scale boots. So I think we'll use these until we can get access to the draconic stuff. So let's see what options we've got here. So we've got Unbreaking, Unbreaking, or Unbreaking. I mean, I don't really want I'd rather put Life Mending on there. And the book is going to give us an efficiency, so... Alright, you know what, we'll just do the helmet for Unbreaking. Hopefully it gives us something else that's decent. Just Unbreaking. Okay. The boots we're getting Unbreaking again. Block Reach on the book. And Unbreaking on the legs. I think I'll go for the Block Reach book. Okay, that's actually not bad. I think I might actually put Block Reach on our Mantle of the Stars. Wow, that is a lot of sharpness on there. I think we'll add that to our sword. More Unbreaking or Leech? Yeah, let's grab the Leech actually, that could be useful. And we just got Unbreaking only on both of these pieces. Hopefully the boots gives us something a bit more interesting than just Unbreaking. Well, we're definitely looking pretty fancy. But I think this is going to be the last enchant we can get with the levels that I have available to me. And we have Holding on the book. Is that power 15? Wow. Yeah, we're going to need a bow as well, so that'll come in useful. So checking again on our fuel, just to end out the episode here, we're on 7.3 million millibuckets in our quantum tank, which is good to see. It means that we're not burning more fuel than we produce. And the ores still have quite a big backlog to go through. But I think we're going to wrap it up here for today. We got our Thaumcraft area moved over. This I'll probably work on between episodes in terms of the aesthetics. But all of the functional bits is already in place, which is good. Same with the Astral Sorcery area up here. All the function is here, it's just it needs some sprucing up. I think I'm going to do like a little garden up here. And I'll probably terraform all this area. But yeah, hopefully next time we can come back and we'll have a few more levels built up. I'll set up some DML stuff to give us some more matter between episodes and enchant the rest of this gear. And then yeah, we'll be back tomorrow to fight the Chaos Guardian, and that's going to unlock a lot more platinum for us, as well as some other useful resources. But yeah, until then, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more FTB interactions.